Welcome to the Shortwave radio channel, and this is a part 4 of our Shortwave for Beginners series. And of course, we talked about, is there a better time to listen to shortwave than in a given time in a given day? But also, here we're going to talk about differences between day and night on shortwave. So shortwave goes from 3 to 30 megahertz. You've noticed that there are a lot of different bands of shortwave broadcasting. And you might wonder why sometimes you hear stuff on a frequency range on a band and you don't hear it at other times. One of the things, of course, is, like I said, there are some prime time listening moments. But there's also something else in play here. And it has to do with the day and the night effect on radio propagation of signals. The ionosphere is actually ionized by the sun, and the ionosphere is what reflects the radio signals. It's like a giant mirror in the sky for signals from 3 to 30 megahertz. But it's not equal everywhere, and it's different in what frequencies it can actually propagate day and night. So there's a shifting pattern as we go through our 24-hour day. Nighttime tend to have signals on lower frequencies propagate, daytime higher frequencies. So that explains why you might hear a lot of signals on 6 megahertz international broadcast band at local midnight or in the evening when it's getting dark, but nothing in midday when it's actually sunny outside or when it's daytime. And it all has to do with the way the ionosphere works in propagation of signals. A general rule, because it's a very general rule, is that normally above 10 megahertz will be propagating in the daytime. Below 15 megahertz will be propagating in the nighttime. Now, I put it pretty broad, and it depends on the season. There's a lot of things at play, so it's not fixed. You can't say, starting at 9.5 megahertz and down at this time, and it doesn't work like that. There's a transition zone. Between 10 and 15 megahertz, that zone of frequency is often a mixed bag, meaning that it can sometimes propagate even in the middle of the night, sometimes in the day. That's kind of a transition zone. But below 10 megahertz is more of a nighttime frequency range that you'll hear. And in the daytime, usually you could say 15 megahertz and up. There's a lot of other factors at play that are very complex that we'll actually see in other videos. But for a general rule, just think that lower frequencies are better at nighttime, higher frequencies are better in the daytime. But there's a transition zone there, and there's also exceptions to the rule of propagation. And this is going to be looked at in a separate video where we're going to explain a little more into details why, for example, you might hear a signal in a very high frequency in the middle of the night, which seems to be telling us that that rule that I just talked about isn't true, and that there's a lot of things that actually can change the rules. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.